StarCraft time to the top left after Bomber was just eliminated. It is up to the Zerg player in the orange color to, well, make his team proud. It is
StarCraft Curious.
July did not advance, Bomber did not advance, but Curious just might be able to get into Korea. So far, he's undefeated in this group, played really, really well. And what is the Terran player to the bottom right going to do against the strong Zerg player from the StarTale team? Here on the screen we have
Fnatic Alive.
Consider the 3 games you've seen from Curious that he won already were all Zerg versus Terrans. The first 2, though, were just him defending 2 racks and taking a win as a result. Against Maru, though, he played a longer game and played it really well with some unique Roach play. And this is, you know, the main reason why I think he's going to be the favorite here. He's just beaten 3 Terrans already, and he's got to be feeling confident. Although Curious does not really read into emotions all too much.
I talked with NST when we had the Off the Record show a little bit about a topic that we already discussed in the past, like when a player is playing every single time the same matchup, does he actually have an advantage because he can concentrate on it and is in the same mindset, or does his opponent have the edge because he was able to see the strategies that he used? But in this particular scenario, Alive doesn't really get an advantage at all, because the only thing that he saw so far are 2 double barracks plays. He's not going for a double barracks push because he does not want to use the same strategy, especially with cross position and wise decision. And this is a completely different map. Yep. So Curious is still in the same mindset that he used against his former opponents. He can use this against Alive. He's still fighting in the same matchup, and Alive doesn't get any advantage out of seeing Curious play against Terran players early on.
I have a question to ask you regarding the off-the-record episode. Did you ask NST whether he prefers or why he prefers Mulas oftentimes over Infestors?
I actually did.
What did he say?
It was so funny. Do you know how I keep, especially on Cloud Kingdom, I keep going on about the fact that I'm a bit surprised about about NST's Mulas usage, that most Zerg players decide to go Infestor, and that I thought he would do it because he really thinks that his unit control is good enough to pull it off. And so I asked him exactly this question. And he, honest as he is, he turns around and he's like, you know what? In practice, 9 out of 10 games I play Infestors on this map, but every time I sit in the GSL booth, somehow my mouse cursor and my keyboard, they automatically go for the Mutalist.
That's actually really interesting to see.
And it's actually just he's awesome. I mean, he was really outgoing and answered all our questions, and I did not expect him to admit to something like this. So that was really cool.
That was really cool, just to hear from you. I'm gonna have to go and watch the whole episode now. I'm sorry I missed that.
It was a really good one. I enjoyed it. It was the first time that I actually did Off the Record. I did it with Tasteless, and it was a lot of fun.
That's good, man. Well, while we were talking about that, you guys saw on the screen, Alive did take out 1 drone and got away, so that was a pretty good trade for him.
He's going for the double.
Double expanding here.
1 at his main base, 1 at the natural, getting the double gas too.
These slow Zerlings from Curious will be microed against. He's got the high ground advantage as well here. Should be able to hold, although he did cut SCV or Marine production for a second, so he might lose 1 or 2 Marines. Nah, see, even without the better Marine count, he had the high ground advantage, and the Lynx don't have speed, just gonna micro against him.
We have Curious with a build now that has been popular already in the last patch before the changes to the Queen. Now he's going for no gas, building 4 Queens, and with 4 Queens the creep spread this time will actually be pretty insane. This is going to be crazy. I expect him to drop a ton of tumors here.
Not only is he doing this, and with the patch involved as well, he doesn't even have the ability to use Hellions because he went double command center, so he just doesn't have any way of stopping the creep. That's what Curious, I think, you know, it's just something he's really going to be happy about when he sees no Hellions coming to stop him. He's probably going to be like, wow, this is a really tough map to take a third as a Zerg. You have to kill the rocks, you have to spread your creep all the way over there. He didn't stop me, and he's probably skipping Hellions. I mean, why else would he not attack me? So it's going to be a lot of information that Curious gets right away. He's even sending his Overlord, which is also 25% faster these days, to come into the main base, scout that command center, and I don't think he's going to be denied.
It's going to be really interesting how this is going to work out. We have the Roach War now coming up for Curious, who's just built his 3rd base. He's getting triple gas at this point. Yeah. And a ton of drones. He was able to focus on drone production. And he has still a timing.
We saw him do this Roach War and stuff in his game against Maru.
Yeah. I really like it because a lot of Zerg players these days try to cut too many corners. He's basically using the same kind of build that, a similar build that you would use against Protoss. Right around the 7-minute mark to 7:20, he's getting a Roach Warren and an Evolution Chamber. And, well, this will help him a lot against any possible shenanigans out of Alive. We have
and
speed
it gives him the
started.
ability to pressure a little bit. It's something you can really do to hurt people who go for risky third commands. There's this Queen. It's like, cannot deny the SCP Scout. The Hellions are going to come out here a lot later, though.
He's getting 4 Roaches now. Well, not so pliable. 5 of them. He could, with all this gas, he could actually... Nah.
He's not doing it, he's making 2 drones. But yeah, he could have committed more.
Well, what we've seen on Daybreak sometimes is a 2-base play with no gas in the beginning, 4 Queens, and then getting 3 extractors right away and transition into Roach Baneling. And they will hit because the Terran player has some scouting information. He knows that you don't get gas, so he kind of assumes that he can get away with greedy play. And if you go for this build and are able to hide the gas when you get it, then suddenly your opponent will be faced with Roach Banelings and you will die to it. But Curious isn't doing it. He has had the 3rd base, which kind of let me assume that he's not trying to pull it off. And with the double Evolution Chamber, that already made sense. But yeah, you're right. On screen right now,
you were right on everything you were saying. I heard it all and I was like, that's true, but I was like, oh my god, that's a lot of barracks.
Yes.
Going up to 6, I believe, maybe 7. Yeah, 6 barracks here. His starport timing is going to be pretty decent, but he's going to have very late siege tanks. And this type of build actually would have died with probably what you were saying, the Hellion Roach Baneling aggression. We wouldn't have siege tanks out. We would have a ton of barracks being powered up, but not a ton of units. He didn't even have any additional bunkers, so that could have been scary for him. The creep start for Curious is already going in the correct direction. He's sent it to the 3rd base already, but he's going to continue to move further forward across the map. It's actually going to be near the watchtower. Because with the Queens not only helping to spread the creep forward that's already been laid, but actually adding creep as well, it just exponentially goes faster and faster across the map. And it's something that Alive is going to have to scan a lot of times to get rid of.
Curious now with the 3rd base is increasing his drone count. We have double upgrades not only for him but also for Alive. We added the double engineering bay. Nice timing too with his armory. Did not work out perfectly, but still it's still pretty spot on. So he can start +2/+2 fairly early. The attack to lair is done for Curious, who has now the option of either going Mutalisks or Infestors. Both is kind of viable on this map. It's a matter of preference what you exactly want to do. So here comes the Infestor, sorry, not the Infestor tech, but here comes the Spire. He will start to transition into a Tier 3 composition as well. We are going to see a Hive tech, so the infestation field should be not too far along the road, but down the road. But we have
Overlord speed.
Exactly.
That's something that's really, really interesting to note.
I actually think that he's just trying to get some scouting information and position Overlords at the naturals of his opponent. Because
look at this! He actually wants the Queen so bad he's going to lose all of his Hellions. That's a poor mistake, I feel, from Alive. It is absolutely not worth 1 Queen to lose all your Hellions, and he didn't even get the Queen. But he is going to do this double drop, which could be quite effective.
I don't think so. He already spotted it. He has Overlords everywhere right now. So, yeah, the first Zerglings are in position. And Curious is building some Spine Crawlers and Spore Crawlers in order to make sure that later on this will not happen again. The Overlord speed kicks in, and I think that we will see a lot of Overlords moving across the map very soon. He doesn't get the drop ability, and if he would have actually tried to go for some kind of drop timing, he would have started drop first and add Overlord speed later.
Yeah, you're right, he spotted the drop. I guess, yeah, he has that Overlord in the south. He's not even losing the Overlord yet either. He got saved, so... I mean, this is what happens if you let a Zerg spread his creeping and get too comfortable with his Overlords on the map. This tiny group of units from Alive is going to make barely a dent in the creep spread. He uses an entire scan and a small group of units, kills 2 tumors, and the creep can actually just continue to stack.
There's a few units in one of these medivacs, by the way. He needs to drop them. Yeah, either he needs to send them off, and now that's already a little drop play coming on. The thing is, the Mutalisks are going to pop soon, and as soon as the Mutalisks are out, drop play won't be effective anymore. But
oh my god, he's trapped all the units
here.
The Banelings are going to get some great hits.
He backs off here as he realizes that the firepower of Alive is a little bit too much. Exactly, with the Marauders tanking the damage from the Banelings, that would have been quite scary.
This is actually really scary. If you make the Banelings in plain view like this and Alive commits, will he commit? He will!
He's too late. He can't attack this. He cannot attack here. There are links everywhere. The Mutalists are moving in as well. All these medivacs are going to die. Alive
and he waited
is
too
not
long.
losing only the Marines. He's losing the
losing all of
medivacs
his
as well.
reinforcements too.
The medivacs are the scary part. They are taking so long to produce. They cost 100 gas. Ah, this is bad for Life. This is really bad for him. Never forget,
Overlords have speed, and he actually may use them to start spreading the creep further here.
Alive is still on 3 bases, whereas Curious has 4. And he is getting more and more drones. He's already at 84. He will be at 95. This is definitely too many drones. As long as he just focuses on economy right now and starts getting Spine Critters and Spore Critters later on, he's fine.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's never such thing as too many drones if your opponent's on the defensive, because you can always just make spines and then use the minerals you've got.
You just have to remember that at some point you have to get rid of a few of them so that you can max out an army supply.
Oftentimes, we're going to see a pretty small Mutalist attack here. You may be able to pick off a reactor, but I think that's all he's going to get. Well, going for the SCVs instead. And Alive is actually out of position. He doesn't have any stuff in his main either, so if he just flies into the main after this... Oh, he's losing Mutas. This is really bad.
Yeah, that's something that he only took 2 SCVs, by the way. They took down Mules too, but still. 3-3 coming up for Alive. The upgrade advantage in his favor now, as Curious starts to research the armor upgrade for his Mutalists. He has the Infestation Pit. He's going for the Pathogen Plants, but no Hive Tech just yet. And here, once again, Alive trying to force the creep back. He's doing a good job at it, but he has to be very careful to stay off creep.
Yeah, he's so patient with how he does it. He's actually sitting in a second squad across the right side of the map to catch hatcheries, but this is going to be easily picked off and killed.
He needs the 4th.
He does.
He definitely needs a 4th base. Now he's fine.
Only Polt can do 3 base this one.
On this map, it's just too dangerous, especially as Curious is getting a 5th right now.
Hive is on the way for as well.
96 drones though, and this is a problem as now both of them are maxed out, and this means that Alive has 130 army supply against 100.
Alive has only been able to even be in this game this long because of the latent capacity play field. Look at all the extra DPS in this ball for Alive. He does not have +3 yet, but the Baneling's not getting the best hits in Alive. Oh! Wow. Well, those last few Baneling hits really changed the tide of battle there. I didn't think he had those.
For a second, it looked like Alive had too many Marines surviving, but now the Mutalists and the Zerglings, they give chase. Curious has to get rid of, he has to get rid of some drones. If both of them max out again, Alive will have the advantage. He already had the advantage in the last battle that they fought, but now Curious has to be more careful. There's still a lot of
attacks. The bundles are ready this time. This is something that, if Curious had this earlier, you know, to be honest, if he had gone Infestors instead of Mutas, I think he would have actually just had this game so much more in the bag.
But then Alive would have had the chance to harass him a lot more with his drop play. The reason why Alive started to stop to drop is because the Mutalists just make sure that you can't be successful.
You can't retreat. Once you have the Mutas out, you can land, but once the Zerglings come, you can't run away, you get killed.
Infestors are something that you can use against drop as well, but it's just so much harder.
Nice control here from Alive, taking a bad situation and turning it into an okay one, targeting down the Banelings.
I like how he uses his Marauders here, not only in order to buffer against the Banelings, but also to target them down. He has just exceptional unit control.
Look how much creep he's able to clear up here. He needs to get the southern part, but he got the heart of the creep now. He's going to get surrounded yet again. There's so many Zerglings. There's a total of 55 out right now. Looks like it may be too much.
Wow, Curious is losing a ton here, and now Alive pulling ahead.
Really making a huge difference here. 83 to 47 supply right now. This is something I talked a lot about with DJ Wheat, with Total Biscuit, and Apollo last week at MLG. Is just that it's simply, if you have that many Banelings, that's a lot of resources wasted if you don't actually connect with them. And this is going to happen yet again.
The problem for Curious is just that he can't max out.
Look at how many resources wasted there in Banelings.
It's just too much. He can't really get a huge army. He does not have the supply. Right now, he doesn't have the lava. That's basically his biggest problem. And he still has too many drones, so the army supply is in favor of Alive.
Yeah, but he's rallying his units across the map in a risky way where they're very vulnerable right now. He needs to actually get those together.
Don't forget, he will not be able to sustain this army size if he does not get the 4th. He's on 3 bases, but he's starting to run out of mineral patches. His main base is already mined out, and it is natural he's facing the same problem.
Yeah, even at his third, he's getting a little bit low, and he is going to lose all of these units.
Alive is playing a great game here, but Curious just has 5 bases, and he will be able to build units. His problem is more that he has too little lava. But with good injects, he will be able to make sure that this is not a problem in the long run.
Command Center will have to be cancelled at the south. If there it is, it does get cancelled. He actually could have killed it if he wanted to.
We don't have Adrenal Glands. This is one thing that Curious did not get yet, and also the upgrades. He's currently on 2-2, and he cannot.
He got Adrenal Glands adjustment.
He does?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought I saw it. I was like, I wasn't sure if he had it either, but he does have it.
Okay, my bad. He's just started +2, +3, and Venus Blading for his Brood Lord, so the transition is starting now. Oh, catching a few of these Marauders off guard. Nice job, well done.
Alive is in such bad shape because, like you said, he didn't take a 4th, and Curious now has the economy to just shut these drops down. He's fighting Alive's army over and over again. He's banking up resources. Alive is not. Curious is consistently 60 supply up, and now he's got that Hive tech out. He's about to have 3-3s. He's going to have even upgrades with his opponent. He's got a decent Infestor count. Infestor count at 7 right now. He's going to trap these units and hit them with bungles and banelings, and Alive is in so much trouble here. No amount of micro is going to save him here.
Alive is trading very efficiently, but with the worse economy, he just cannot sustain this army size. He did a good job at pushing Curious back, making sure that he killed the creep, that he got into a great position at the natural, but without the economy to match his opponent, he was not able to maintain the army size.
You know, I get Alive's style here. Like, a lot of Terrans have been able to make this work recently. Is some inspiring play by Polt. As of late, we've seen MVP SC do this really well. In the past, we've seen Marine King do it as well. It's inspiring just to see how much you can do off of 3 bases when you rally Marines out forever. But if you lose any ground at any point in time, it's very difficult to come back. And at this point, he has Broodlord tech probably planned here. And he hasn't started Greater Spire, but he's starting to make Corruptors.
Alive with a great multitasking, now dropping once again, but there are Spine Crawlers everywhere.
Yeah, you just can't make these work.
Yeah, it's Curious just playing super safe. He's still producing drones. I don't like this. He's now up at 93 drones. He's making it work, but the problem is with all these minerals and gas that he has banked up, getting rid of 20 or even 30 of his drones would be such a great move, because suddenly he could get all these additional units to match his opponent's forces with these.
The Greater Spire is done now, and he's got these Corruptors to help shut down drops, so he can make them into Broodlords whenever he wants to. This is just so tough for Alive. He finally has that 4th base up, but it's basically now like a 3rd base because he's mined out of his natural.
You can actually see that it's way too late. At this point, he should have a 5th base already, not only a 4th. He has way too many SCVs.
He needs 2 mining bases, but he just doesn't have it.
He's oversaturated at the space right now, and this is actually why he's 50 supply behind. Which gives Curious the opportunity to get additional upgrades.
Oh, he's going to target this one down counter.
And as soon as the planetary, even if he trades this with Banelings, as soon as this base is gone, Alive doesn't have any income.
Yep, none at all. Alive is going to go for a counterattack. I think we're going to have not a base trade, but like basically Curious is going to kill some of these units here. Then he's going to turn around and crush Alive's army and just take a lead. If he does decide to run up the ramp, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. Yeah, he's just going to turn around. Alive, in the meantime, though, is doing some decent damage here. Splitting his units into 2 groups. He will probably take out both of these hatcheries if he targets.
He's actually doing Curious a favor right now. He's getting rid of a few drones. The base, on the other hand, that's the one thing that he really needs, not only because he needs the mining, but also the lava. And I think that Alive is going to target down another hatchery. Yes, he's trying to focus it down. It might not work, though.
No, it does not happen. He should have targeted it down a lot earlier.
Oh, Alive's multitasking is great. Another 4th at the 3rd base, but Curious, he just has so many units. He's everywhere. He has still 4,000 minerals and 3,000 gas. 3,000 gas.
Yeah, he's just got so much here. I mean, even though he lost those hatcheries as well, he's got 6 times the income. Look at that.
80 harvesters now for Curious.
Look at that. 10 times the income, in fact, now. It just depends on where the SCVs are. He's moved his main base.
There's no mining for Alive.
Yeah, he's moved his main base now to stop the long-distance mining. He's sending it down to that base that was killed. That's not a planetary, it's an orbital.
Alive is dead. The only problem is nobody told him yet.
That's actually like, I was like, what are you going to say? Then you said like the perfect thing.
I think he knows, but he tries to cling on. He knows that if he loses this game, he's out of Code A, but at this point, Curious is the only person who can decide this game in favor of the Terran player. If he attacks into a choke point with his Ultralisk and loses everything without Alive losing a single unit, then maybe he might be able to take this game. But even
he's
though
going for this squad to target down the hatchery, but Phantom's popping the right moment.
The thing is, I love how Alive plays this, that he is attacking at multiple targets at the same time. He's trying to target down hatcheries, but it's just a little bit too late. All these things are cute, they are awesome, and I love them. And with a decent economy, Alive would probably drive Curious crazy right now and take the game. But with the disadvantage that he already has, it's just an attempt to, I don't know, to turn a situation around that is basically already...
it's a lost cause.
Yeah, already a lost cause. It's just, I don't know what you can do at this point.
There's not much you can do. He's going to lose a ton of SCVs with the Ultra Select.
Wow,
oh my god.
Tons! Oh god.
I'm trying to find out how many kills, but the Infestor killed and died.
56 harvester kills in total, and now Alive is down to 63 supply against 200. And Curious still has enough.
6 Broodlords right outside of his base.
And even though he does that and gets additional Infestors, he still has the economy to max out once again, even if he would lose units for whatever reason.
Yeah, the only way that Alive can hold on a little bit longer is at the top of this ramp, but the Broodlords are finished now, so that's going to be a GG.
It's
Curious 4. Oh man, he is back into Code S.
It's really sad to see Alive drop out here. He's a great player. Today he seemed to be a bit out of shape in the game against Curious. He had a lot of very, very nice engagements, but it was just the macro game where he had a bit of a problem and Curious was able to get far ahead, and now Alive is out. Alive and Curious, Alive and Bomber, they are both out and Curious advances.
Yep. The Alive's play today looking a little bit shaky. I mentioned this before, but Holt in MLG this past weekend actually showed great 3-base pushes where he was just literally doing what Alive did and rallied his units across. But it doesn't work out against someone who gets an advantage against you early on, because then your push across the map isn't threatening or scary, you know? And what Curious did different than a lot of the Zergs that lost to Holt this weekend was that he actually set up flanks consistently. You notice how many times he flanked? I would be like, oh, great trade for Alive, and then like suddenly there was like 6 Banelings behind the army. I was like, oh, I didn't see those, and I guess that's Alive's army's dead now. Great map control with his creep and map awareness, allowing him to constantly be able to flank, set up surrounds, and Alive played well, but it just was not good enough. Should have taken the 4th base a lot sooner.
I'm going to tell you guys what's going to happen now. We have a game coming up between Puzzle and Finn if they actually stick to the schedule at this point. Bomber against Alive is a game that we don't need because both of them are already out, so that would be the match after this, so this will not be played, I guess. We have Puzzle against Finn, and Puzzle and Finn are the only players who could potentially be able to tie with Maru. As Maru was able to win against Puzzle, though, this game might already be the last game of the day, because if Puzzle is going to win against... If Puzzle wins this, then... let me think about this again. If Puzzle wins this, it's basically over. Because even if Puzzle wins against Curious later on, he will be tied with Maru in wins. Yep. But because of the match that they played earlier, Maru would advance. And yeah, so if Puzzle takes this game, it's over. Then we have Maru and... Curious advancing. If Finn takes the game, we have a match between Finn, right? Maru against Finn, and the winner will advance.
Yep. Okay.
That's what's going to happen here.
Sounds good, man. The map is going to be dual site, in fact.
They could also just play Maru against Finn, and the winner well, it doesn't matter. If Finn would win this game, we would still have to wait for the game between Puzzle and Finn. So we will have, yeah. I was just thinking if there was a possibility that we have only one game left, and no matter how the game ends, it's over, but it's not.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so that's the situation. If Puzzle takes the game, then Maru advances. Puzzle cannot advance anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't have the option. He's basically just like an enemy barring the way of these two players. With the way the order goes, it's just how it goes. I kind of like the format though, because if you switch the order, it kind of cheapens it a little bit, as this is a group play. So you get to be tested against people who aren't even going to get out, and I like that. GSL up and down matches. We have 2 matches left. The first one will be between Puzzle and Ben. I'm Wolf with me as Caldor. We're jumping into dual site right now.